Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a great start into 2023 and that 2023 will be your year that is going to be great and lovely and hopefully filled with a lot of wonderful memories and adventures. And my New Year's was very relaxing, which was kind of nice. And yeah, anyway, I kind of realized that it has been a really long time since I filmed anything or uploaded anything here. So I thought now it's 2023, why not sit down and talk a little bit about some manga, because it's just one of my favorite topics of all time, like anime and manga. And I thought I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite boys love manga that I've read in 2022. These have not been, like, they're not released in 2022, but I just read them in that year. So these are some of my favorite ones that I've read in the last year, and that I would highly recommend you pick up, because most of these are quite fluffy, because I don't like too much drama in my boys love manga. That's just who I am. So without further ado, let's just dive right in and let's talk about some boys love manga that I've read in 2022. The first one that I have here, where I don't have a physical copy of, because I read it online, is called Majo to Neko. It's a one shot and it's by the author Yadaka Kuroi. So in this one, we follow it's set in a fantasy world where witches exist, and our main character is a witch, and he can have a familiar. And the witches are actually like hunted in this manga. So because being a witch familiar gives the familiar a lot of benefits, and they get like the lives of like the familiar animal that they're representing. So for example, in this we have the witch's familiar is a cat, so that person has 9 lives. So we follow this witch character and his familiar, and it's like one of the more dramatic boys love manga I've read in 2022, to be honest, because it's quite dark, it's quite bloody. But our witch character, he wants to push people away, because he, as a witch, is, like I said, he's hunted by other people who want to become his familiar, and so he's kind of like distancing himself from other people so that he doesn't pull other people into his like dangerous way of life. But his later familiar is kind of like a little bit drawn to him and wants to get a little bit closer to him. He's very, like, they're both very special kind of people, because they really try to keep their distance from people, like both of them really. But then they come together and they find that it's okay to open like their heart to each other, and they find like really happiness with each other, even though they both come from very, very dark places. And I love that. Like I said, it's a little bit more action based. There's a lot of fighting in this one, actually, a lot of blood. So if you're not comfortable with that, maybe you should skip this one. The romance in it is really, really sweet and very, very real and very intense. Like, it felt like that when I was reading it. So I highly recommend this one. It's very beautifully drawn as well. So if you want a one shot with a little bit of action, with a little bit of fantasy, with some good smutty scenes in it, and a very intense but sweet love, I think you should go for this one. So the next one I would recommend is called Mahotsukai wa Furete Hodokeru, and it's by the author Sozo Hoshikura. And this is also a one-shot. This is set also in a fantasy world where we follow 2 guys who are going to like a wizard school, mages school, and one of them is actually like half fairy and half human. So he's very closed off as well, because he's like not part of either world, so not part of the fairy world or his fairy people, and not part of the humans. So he's like put at a distance from all the other humans and also from the fairies, and he's not part of their like normal school goings. He doesn't go to class, and he is like in a closed off part of the school where other people cannot enter and stuff like that. So but at one point, actually, one of the other school guys, like one of the students, actually visits him. I think he's living in the greenhouse, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit weird, but it's actually very sweet. And he visits him, and they kind of like get to know each other. The fairy guy, I'm just gonna call him that because I don't remember the names, like the character names. I'm sorry about that. But the fairy guy, he learns a little bit of magic from the human, because it's a very powerful human. He knows a lot of magic, a lot of powerful magic, and they kind of like study together. and they get closer to each other, and of course they do. And throughout the manga, they kind of realize, oh, I think I might like him, like each other, but they kind of realize it really late in the manga, that what they're doing is might be a little bit more than just regular friendship, you know, between guys. But it's very sweet. It's a lot like an innocent love that we follow here, and also yeah, again, actually two people who really are, well, trying to distance themselves from other people because they don't want to hurt other people, and they have been like disappointed before. So this again is a little bit like the first one, but with much less action, much less blood, but it's kind of still like two people who have been very closed off, find love with each other, and it's in a very cute environment because of like the wizarding school, and the art is very beautiful as well. So if you want something sweet for in between, this one should be for you as well. Then the next one I have is called The Cat Proposed, which I actually have as a physical copy. It's it looks like this. It's by Dento Hayane, and this is actually an English manga that I bought. I do that very, like, not regularly, because English manga are quite expensive when you buy them here in Germany. I'm not sure why. Like, English books are so much cheaper, but English manga are so expensive. But anyhow, so I read this also like a few weeks ago, and this is set in a world where yokai exists, so the Japanese version of like folklore, ghosts and stuff like that. And we have our main guy who is like the cat in this in this manga, and we have the human one. And he is kind of like, our main character is very, I would say he's very depressed. He's very tired of his life. He's very overworked and doesn't have any time for himself. He's very, like, he's like at the bottom right now of life, really. And that the manga really gives you that feeling as well, that he is really tired of just everything happening in his life. And to be honest, that it broke my heart reading this, because I felt so like with that character in this manga, and I don't know why. Like, I do get emotionally attached to manga, of course I do, but not normally into like a one shot of a boys love manga, you know. So anyhow, he is very tired of life, of his work, of his daily life, and he is visiting one of his shows. Like, he's doing like a regular like storytelling show in the evening. I'm not sure what it's called. It has a name. Wait, let me check. It's called Kodan storytelling. So that's like a kind of way of storytelling in Japan, kodan. So he's doing like a kodan storytelling in the evening. He's actually just walking in on that and like going into the bar or anything, and just watches him telling that story. And then he kind of like blinks his eye, and he sees that he is actually a cat, like a bakeneko. And he's kind of like, okay, I think I'm very tired, I'm seeing things, I'm hallucinating, and he's leaving. But he, like our bakeneko character, he realized that he saw him as a, like, in his real form. And that's not supposed to happen. Like, humans are not supposed to see like the real form of like the yokai, and if they do, they need to be killed in this world, in this manga. So he kind of follows him home and says, okay, let's get married, you're going to be my partner, so you won't get killed and I won't get killed, because he would get killed as well, because he's the one who exposed himself, basically. So in the end, that's why it's called The Cat Proposed, because he proposes to him in a really like functional way, or like in a beneficial way, because they don't want to die. And it's a really weird manga, not gonna lie, because it's very, very mystical. I would say it's very like dark in some places, because just of the topics that it addresses. And I actually cried at the end of this manga. It has a happy ending, but I actually cried because I felt, like I mentioned at the beginning, I felt so connected to the main character, and I felt so sad for him, and so just so broken together with him. And I thought that was kind of beautiful, because it's just a one shot. It's a very short manga, but it's a very, very beautiful manga in my opinion. If you want something a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more intense with yokai and a little bit of a spiritual aspect, I would highly recommend this one. I think you're going to have like a good time reading this because it kind of sucks you in right away because of how it's written and how the characters are with each other. So beautiful manga. I love it. I really want to read more of that author. The next one I have here is also in a physical copy, and that is Golden Sparkle by Minta Suzumaru, I think that's her name. And I love that author, to be honest. Like, I love her art. Her noses that she draws are so cute because they're kind of like rounded, and she, like, her character style, like how she draws characters are it's so beautiful. I love her art style so much. I bought this one because a friend of mine recommended it to me, and I thought, why not? Even though the premise is it's kind of stupid, like really seriously stupid. It's like this kind of boys love manga stupidity where you're like, this is so stupid and hilarious, but you kind of still love it, you know. You might know if you read a lot of boys love manga. But anyhow, we follow two school guys, and our blonde guy, he has like no experience with like girls or like sexual situations, because, well, he does have experience with girls, but only in a way that they always followed him when he was younger, and that he was like kind of scared for life because of that. They meet in high school, and well, they do experience sexual situations together because our blonde guy, he kind of gets like, he wakes up and has like wet dreams, and he doesn't understand because he's very, very innocent. He's very naive and doesn't understand what it means. So he's talking to his friend and he's like, let me help you. You know, that kind of situation. That's what we follow in this one. Like I said, a little bit stupid. But so they do fall in love. But our helping hand guy here, he's kind of like, no, I don't want that. And I cannot like show you my feelings. So he's kind of like distancing himself from our blonde guy, and he's like, he's not having that. And that's what I really loved in this one. Like, in the end, he's like, no, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna just go away and not talk to me about like what's going on here. So he's like waiting for him at the end, and is like, let's talk, like, have, like, I want communication. And I adored that because a lot of time that doesn't happen in boys love manga. It's just like misunderstanding after misunderstanding and miscommunication and stuff like that. And I really like that he wants to talk to his other guy and wants to know what's going on. So I really enjoyed that. It has an happy ending. Like all the boys love manga that I'm reading, they all have happy endings. We have like a young love that we follow here, with one really innocent, naive guy and who doesn't understand like what's going on, and the other who knows exactly what's going on but doesn't communicate it, basically. So beautiful art, two idiots in love. Like, this is idiots to lovers, I would say. So yeah, if you like that, try this one. The next one I have here is actually a still ongoing manga, and it's it's Megumi and Tsugumi by, who is it? Mitsuru C. That's what it's called. Like, I have all 4 volumes. I love like the backs of these because they're like these neon colors. I thought that was so cool. This is ABO, so we have alpha, beta, and omega dynamics in this one. We don't have a lot of these translated in German because it's just a genre that's hasn't really arrived here yet, I would say. I think you might already know that if you read a lot of boys of manga. We have Megumi and Tsugumi, and he, like, Megumi is it's the other way around. This is Megumi and this is Tsugumi. So Megumi is an alpha, Tsugumi is an omega, of course. And this is actually like really simple. It's a school story. He is an omega that goes into heat, and he doesn't use suppressants, and he's kind of like just working through like his heats without like medicine or without an alpha and all that, just with his will, you know. He's that kind of like strong omega. And this is also idiots to lovers, or just idiots to idiots, really, because they're both so stupid. Like, they're so stupid, and I love that. They're just absolutely like morons, and I enjoy that sometimes. Like, they're both so idiotic. Tsugumi is kind of like, I don't need anyone, I'm strong by myself. And that is true. That is absolutely true. They're both a little bit of like rebels and like fighters, you know. And of course he goes into heat, and he like the alpha is helping him out. It's like that really regular alpha omega story with some twists, because like I said, he's like the strong omega and he really resists, which is good, of course. But I enjoyed this a lot. It's hilarious. Like sometimes it's so hilarious. The art is a little bit, I think not everyone would like it, because it's a little bit, I think, simple, but still good. I still enjoy the art a lot, and just the story, because they're both, I just love how like idiotic they are, not gonna lie. And we also have some twists and turns, like people are coming who are like interested in one of them and the other fights him off, and he's very also very resistant to, I don't want your love and I don't need you, but he like the alpha falls in love with him so hard and so unconditionally, which is really sweet, like in its own way. But yeah, if you like ABO stories with two really idiotic main characters who fall in love in a really weird and interesting way, give this a go if you like this kind of genre. And the last one is my absolute favorite that I have read in 2022. I've read this, I think, so many times by now. I think this is one of my favorite boys love manga of all time, and I've read so many boys love manga in my life already. It's My Pretty Policeman by Niyama. I don't know where to start with this, except for this is absolutely what I love in boys love manga. It's beautiful art, it's romantic, it's fluffy. The smut in this is out of the world. Like, not gonna lie, it's out of the world. The characters are wonderful. They're so in love. It's just everything I dream of in boys love manga. And I just, oh my god. I could like gush about this like forever. So we follow Seiji and Shin, and Seiji is our like older guy here, a man of 40 years, and we have Shin, who is 30, so he's a little bit younger, 10 years younger, and he's a policeman. And Seiji has his own like little like convenience shop, and they know each other from when Seiji was a policeman himself, because he rescued him in like in a situation that happened. And Shin has been in love with Seiji forever, for like all these 10 for 10 years, I think. And it's just gorgeous. It's just fluff. There's nothing dramatic happening in this one. I'm telling you, if you don't like unnecessary drama, if you don't like it, you should read this, because there's like nothing of that. There's no unnecessary drama. It's just fluff. It's established relationship like throughout like these 3 volumes. It's just beautiful. We just follow their lives and how like their slice of life, daily life is, and how they fall more and more in love. They have a cat as well, and they live together in a house, and it's just, I like, please try this one if you really like fluffy, romantic, beautifully drawn boys love manga. And if you haven't read this one, oh my god, it's just, I love it so much. It's just, oh my god, I just read this like the other day again, because I'm just always picking this up again because I love it so much. Oh my god. But yeah, this is my favorite one of all of these that I've read in the past year. I really hope that Niyama, like the author, that more of her work will be translated into German. Anyhow, let's move on from this. So these are all the boys love manga that I would highly recommend you pick up, and these are my favorites that I've read in 2022. So I hope this might be helpful for you. I hope you will maybe pick one of these up as well and find something that you also like, and maybe you will also fall in love with My Pretty Policeman like I did. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me rambling on and on about these boys love manga. Holy crap. Wishing you all once again a happy new year. Take care everyone, and see you all in the next video. Bye bye.